The art of fighting is not fighting. It's the perception of fighting.
Wow. Give me an example of it.
Okay. The perception of the person who, what is his name? I don't know. Achilles, the greatest warrior of all. Your perception of fighting him.
Right. Well, so the perception of fighting him would be to run away unless you knew that his heel, that his tendon in his heel was the only vulnerable part of his body.
Exactly. But in order to do that, you have to risk the chance of
You have to
getting
run
killed.
around in circles.
Whatever it is, you have
Right.
to take that risk. And that's what fighting's about, taking risks.
Okay, so let's not talk about the guys in the ring who now, you're covering up and you're jabbing and you're not allowed to kick. And you can't kick him in the balls and you can't use your fingers to poke his eyes out. Things that on the street, if you had to save your life, you might be doing anything you can think of in
Absolutely.
minimal amounts of stuff that you've read about that are hurtful or deadly, you would be doing to save your life. But now you're a kid and you're able to kick and bite and scream. That is as primitive as the Vikings with their broadswords. The Vikings with their before guns, when you had to face the enemy with a knife or a sword or your hands, does anybody ever forget that? Nobody talks in history of battle fatigue.
That's interesting that you bring that up. You know how gladiators got discovered during war, and some of the captives, prisoners of war, some of the other warriors. Say I'm a Greek and I caught some Persian. Yeah. So we're bored, so we're not fighting 24 hours. The war doesn't even last long. 20 minutes, the war is over, they break up and they plan to fight another war. Mm-hmm. So this scrimmage stuff. But when they catch some Persians or something, so the Greeks go like, they get bored, they say, hey, let's make them fight each other. And then they start fighting each other, and then they fight to the death, and then some of the guys, the Greeks give some of the Persians some of the winning of the money they made. And so they said, wow, I got money. First time they're prisoners, now they were starving. Now we're eating and drinking from fighting. I like fighting.
For entertainment.
Yeah, I'm eating. They gave me money. And so now this is how they created wars, and that's how gladiators got created.
I understand. Now, that's an interesting phrase. I like fighting. Do we know people who like fighting?
Absolutely. But they don't like hurting people. Isn't that something?
Yeah. So how do you explain that? Because you got to hurt somebody to win the fight, right?
Absolutely. But the fact is,
And you're talking about yourself?
No, I'm talking about fighters in general.
But you in particular?
No, I like the fact of hurting somebody in a match.
In the ring.
Fighting, yeah.
That was scary for them.
Yeah,
for the opponent, they knew that you liked hurting them.
Yeah, and it's not that I like hurting them. I like to portray the perception that I like hurting people.
So wait a minute, you're talking about several levels of things going on. You removed yourself from absolutely liking to hurt somebody, but you wanted to give the perception of liking to hurt somebody.
Exactly.
But in reality, you didn't like to hurt somebody.
But with the
so why did you like to give that perception?
Because with that perception, he becomes intimidated.
Intimidated.
Yes.
You're the intimidator.
Yes.
By saying, I'm gonna eat your children.
No, by thinking I'm going to eat your children.
That's what I mean.
Not by saying it.
No, you wouldn't eat their children because they don't taste particularly. You need a lot of hot sauce. But the perception.
It's all perception, yes.
And so when you said, I'm going to tell him I'm going to eat his kids, it was all, I'm a beast and I'm coming in the ring and I'm going to, and I'll start eating you first before I eat your kids.
And absolutely. And some of my prior annex over the years, he saw possibility I will eat his kids.